Hello everyone and welcome to Farm Bureau's Voices of Agriculture. This week, coming to you from the state of Mississippi. On the show this time, we visit the farms of the finalists for the 2014 Young Farmers and Ranchers Achievement Award and the YF&R Excellence in Ag Award. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Each year, young farmers from across the state have the opportunity to win fabulous prizes in the Young Farmers and Ranchers contests. This year, 5 finalists were named for the YF&R Achievement Award, and 5 finalists were also named for the YF&R Excellence in Ag Award. The judging panel spent a good bit of time getting to know the finalists and learning about their operations. So why don't we do the same? First, let's meet the finalists for the 2014 Mississippi Young Farmers and Ranchers Excellence in Ag Award. Our first nominee is Craig Hankins from Bolivar County. Craig is the Bolivar County Extension Agent in Cleveland. He says the biggest part of his job is telling people about agriculture.
I guess first of all, I'm an educator. When I get to the office, I'll have people call in pretty much throughout the day, want me to come look at problems they may be having, and then I usually spend my afternoon going out on those calls.
One of the most important events that helps educate the public in the Delta is the Delta Ag Expo held each January.
This will be our 42nd year annual Delta Ag Expo, and I'm, being the Bolivar County agent, I'm the chairman of the Delta Ag Expo. The Delta Ag Expo Corporation and the Mississippi State Extension Service it's a partnership to put on this show. We'll have about 120 vendors set up at the Expo building, showcasing everything from, we'll have seed companies to new technologies coming down. Just the whole, anything you can think about as far as agriculture goes will all be under one roof in January.
One issue facing agriculture that Hankins deals with is opposition to GMOs.
You've got a lot of people that are preaching against what we're trying to do, but they lack the knowledge on the other side of what happens if we don't have that kind of technology going on. That's our main push, is to figure out how to convince these people that we're not the bad guy, we're actually somebody they've got to rely on.
Away from the office, he likes to spend time with his horses, showing them and doing a little roping. Our next finalist is Marie Rogers of Itawamba County. She's an extension agent with 4-H and Ag and Natural Resources responsibilities.
I came from a small family farm, but by the time I came along, everybody was out of the business. So they had outside vocations, but we got into farming when I met my husband, Joe. He's a high school agriculture teacher and small farmer.
In her 4-H responsibilities, Marie teaches kids about livestock with a program called Premier Exhibitor.
Premier Exhibitor is a contest that they have at the Dixie National Junior Roundup for those who have been in the beef program for a while, a few years. It's for our senior 4-H and FFA members, and they've got to know everything about beef cattle production, from identifying the feeds, the cuts of meat, the different breeds of cattle. They do an interview. The list is endless of the things that they could do in that contest.
They also get to do some fun experiments.
Well, we're gonna stick Mentos in a soda and blow it up and show you a chemical reaction.
Marie says she enjoys how her job affects agriculture.
My job positively affects agriculture because as an extension agent, I get to go out and educate the public about the research that our land-grant university, Mississippi State University, has been doing over the past several years. Whether it's new technology, new seed technologies, new ways to farm, new research, anything that's going to make their job easier.
Marie plans to continue to educate the public about the positive research being done in agriculture.
I feel that's very important. Also continue farming and teach our kids responsibility through farming, and also teach them that it's important to care for others through that, feed others. One of our passions is teaching others who don't know how to farm to farm. Joe and I went to Africa a few years back and taught them a few agricultural practices. So we want to carry that on in the future with our children.
The Rogers have 2 children, 4-year-old Bo and Clara Beth, who's 18 months. Next, we have John Carson from Sharkey County in the lower Mississippi Delta. John is a Mississippi State University Extension agent.
My responsibilities included serving as a link between the ag community and the resources, research that the university provides. I also have 4-H responsibilities, so I bring the world of agriculture to young kids that are growing up and have an interest in agriculture. My job positively impacts the ag industry, I believe, by promoting the research and the technology that comes from the university employees and faculty. I do this through several different avenues, such as seminars, workshops, newsletters, emails, phone calls, and on-farm visits, usually on a daily basis or monthly basis.
John believes that there are several major problems facing agriculture. One is the increasing concern over the quality of our environment. Another is the resistance to pesticides that's building up worldwide. And the third is the exploding world population.
We know that the population is expected to be 9 billion by the year 2050, which is going to put a huge supply demand on the world of agriculture. So we have to meet that demand, and I believe that's the most important issue today.
John's worked as an advisor with both the Sharkey and Issaquena Farm Bureau boards. Plus, he has worked with both counties' Y&R committees to help plan leadership activities. Next, we have Jessica Graves from Starkville. Jessica is an undergraduate coordinator and an instructor in the Department of Animal and Dairy Sciences at Mississippi State University.
It is a lecture class. I have a lab class also, but my TAs usually take care of that. But I have 125 freshman students, and that is very challenging a lot of times because it's their first semester in school a lot of times. Many of those students don't come from agriculture backgrounds, so the things that I get to teach them are very new to them.
Jessica also coordinates on-campus activities with prospective and current students, which includes tours and hands-on activities.
Usually in the fall semester, I see a lot of students and their families come in. At that point, I'll tour them around the department, and we'll also go out to the farms, because to me it's a lot easier for those students to make a connection when they can actually see the dairy farm or see the holy cow, the cannulated steer at the beef unit. So they really make that connection, and I feel like we do a good job of that here at Mississippi State.
Jessica also works at the State Fair, working with students at the dairy show and helping answer questions about Mississippi State.
We're taking down a string of dairy heifers to the show as well, so those students will not only have a learning experience of the show aspect of things, but then they also get to interact with and help with the junior show on that Saturday. Because of my job, I get to see a lot of fresh minds. Because of our population, a lot of our students want to go to vet school, and it's my job to really educate them on other opportunities, maybe vet school included, but also other opportunities in the area of agriculture, because as we know, there is a plethora of things that a student could do to be successful in the area of agriculture, without necessarily going to work in the veterinary field.
Jessica has set some pretty lofty goals for herself, which include getting more involved with Farm Bureau.
I want to have my own herd of cattle and tinker in some things. So there's a lot of different things that I hope to do in the next few years, and it's going to be a slow progression probably.
Our final nominee is Ken Parker from Jones County. Ken is a high school ag teacher at South Jones High School in Ellisville.
I teach A&R, one class intro, a class of A&R 1 and A&R 2, and Ag and Natural Resources. It covers pretty much everything. You go over animal science, plant science, environmental science, a little bit of metalworking, farm maintenance, farm management. You also go over SAEs, which supervised agricultural experiences, and FFA. All that's part of it. I really look at it as like I got two jobs. I teach ag and also advise an FFA chapter, which that's another job unto itself.
When he's not teaching, Ken helps run the family farm.
We do mostly truck crops. We have tomatoes, peppers, we got bell peppers, jalapenos, and a dozen other smaller varieties. We grow onions, corn, squash, cucumbers, eggplants.
In addition to his produce farming, Ken also raises honeybees.
We're not a big operation, but we got about 200 hives now. Some brave soul puts on a suit, takes a smoker, goes out and robs the hives. That's always the dangerous part. They'll bring in the frames, we'll take them out to our shed, then you just cut off the top of the frame, uncap it, put it in the extractor, spin it out, and strain it, and there you go. It's ready to bottle. If we're gonna bottle it right then, we pour it straight into the bottler, strain it again, just put it in a mason jar, put the lid on it. We got some labels we ordered from a company, slap them on the side. We sell them same as we do tomatoes, fruit stands, and our farmer's market.
Ken plans to continue his education and obtain his doctoral degree with the possibility of becoming a vocational director. And those are the nominees for the 2014 Young Farmers and Ranchers Excellence in Agriculture Award. We'll be back in just a moment to meet the finalists for the YF&R Achievement Award right after these messages. And welcome back to Voices of Agriculture. We're visiting the finalists of the 2014 Mississippi Young Farmers and Ranchers Awards. We've met the finalists for the Excellence in Ag Award, so let's meet the finalist for the YF&R Achievement Award. Our first nominees are Judd and Kayla Davis from Bolivar County. The Davises have a row crop operation just south of Cleveland.
I personally farm about 2,600 acres as my own, and my father and brother and I, we all are a partnership, and we farm about 7,800 acres total. We farm rice, corn, and soybeans. We call ourselves rice farmers because that's the most labor intense of what we do, and we farm about 2,200, anywhere between 1,800 to 2,400 acres a year. We had about 2,200 this year, and we like I said, we call ourselves rice farmers because personally that's my favorite is rice.
Being a rice farmer, Judd is naturally concerned about the availability of water.
The use of groundwater is really becoming very well monitored and regulated, I guess. We have water meters and things of that nature that we're putting on, and everybody's trying to do their part to get to the point where we're not mining the water, to where everything stays constant, where this water source will last my lifetime and Walker's lifetime if he wants to use it. And that's a driving point for us in water conservation I know I am the younger generation farming, but I've already got my generation coming that I want to be able to, if he wants the opportunity to farm, he can have it.
Life in the Delta revolves around agriculture. When agriculture does well, the entire Delta prospers.
As long as we have the water source, I think that is one of the driving forces that we have on a lot of other regions that we have irrigation. Irrigation is its own insurance policy. We can guarantee it's going to rain. We can't always guarantee it's not going to rain. It gets a little deep around here sometimes. But I do believe that as long as we can continue to maintain our water source, that we will be able to continue to thrive in the Mississippi Delta when it comes to agriculture.
Casey is a stay-at-home mom to the couple's 4 children. Caroline, who is 5, Amelia, who's 4, 2-year-old Walker, and Kate, who was only 10 days old when we visited. Next, we have Jeremy and Beth Graham from Pontotoc County. They run a dairy and row crop operation just east of Oxford.
We're the 3rd generation on this home farm. My grandfather and them bought the place in 1928, started milking cows in the early 30s. My father and mother and my uncle were all partners in the dairy. And then in 1999, I bought 50% of the operation. In 2007, Beth and I bought the remaining half of the dairy, so we own 100% of the operation now.
Currently, the Grahams have about 40 baby calves that are on milk. Jeremy spends a lot of his time making sure that they have everything they need.
I go out at 9 o'clock every night before bedtime and make sure see if any of them's calving. If they're calving, I get to get up every 2 hours to check on the progress of them. The next morning, we bring the calves up, we put them in individual huts, and we feed the baby calf in an individual hut on a bottle for about 3 or 4 days. And then we transition them over to a 5-gallon bucket with a hose and a nipple on it. We get them accustomed to sucking that bucket, and then once they get about 1.5 weeks, 2 weeks old, we move them to a group of about 6 to 8 calves, and then we raise them in that group of 6 to 8 calves on what we call a blue cow barrel. Some of them's white barrels, but we raise them that way till they're about 8 weeks old. We wing them and then move them out onto pasture, and heifers stay on pasture till they're ready to calve. Cows are on grass 365 days a year.
Being in the dairy business makes you a pretty rare commodity in this state.
When I started in 1999, there was 350 grade A dairies in Mississippi. Currently, right now, there's 95 is the last number I've seen.
But Jeremy says he wouldn't have it any other way.
It's a 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year job. Currently, we've got a real reliable crew that'll step in and pick up things whenever I get tied up doing Farm Bureau activities or going to different meetings or even when I get sick.
Beth is an x-ray technician at a hospital in Oxford, and the Grahams have 2 girls, Mary Hatley, who is 4, and Kendall is 1.5. Next, we have Billy and Kayla Tab from Eupora. The Tabs have a diversified row crop operation consisting of a little less than 2,000 acres of corn, peanuts, soybeans, wheat, and milo.
Planned on having a lot more than that, but that's what we got this year. Started out in 2003 just farming cotton, which was years ago, and the cotton markets kind of fell off, so we the last 2 years hadn't planted any cotton, but hope to go back to that. We're non-irrigated hill farmers, and it's just we're pretty spread out because we don't have a whole lot of open land around here, but we make do.
Billy started growing peanuts in the mid-2000s when birdsong came through looking for farmers to plant them.
First couple of years was tough. It was a learning curve, I tell you. We hauled as much dirt over there as we did peanuts, but they bared with us, and we've been very, very profitable on the peanuts. That's kind of kept me afloat. The years that it's so dry, they're almost drought resistant. And, of course, the market, it jumped way up back in 11, I believe, when it really jumped up, and that helped us a lot. And then 12 was good. They're hanging in there pretty good, so we really like the rotation though. I mean, it seems to be good for the dirt, and just something else we can have just to diversify a little bit.
Billy says the biggest issue facing him as a farmer is the high cost of inputs versus the low prices for commodities.
The fertilizer went up and never went back down. Very few seed companies and very expensive on that end. Nobody's competing anymore for your business. It doesn't seem like as much. And I know with the new technology, of course, the crops are easy to grow, but if you make one mistake now, it's over with. I mean, it's very tough, the prices of everything. And that's what, you gotta figure out a niche like the peanuts to hang on in the lean times with these other row crops.
Kayla is a teacher at the local school. The Tabs have 4 children, Brady, who's 9, Grant, who is 7, 6-year-old Adelie, and Gibson, who is 22 months. Our next nominee is Brett Sanford. Brett is a 3rd-generation row crop farmer from Covington County.
I started farming myself when I was about 8 years ago. We usually farm about 200 acres of corn, about 600 acres of wheat, 2,000 to 3,000 acres of beans. We scattered out from here. We farm in Columbia, we go Bassfield, east of Butchie. We go pretty much about a 40-mile radius.
Brett is also the co-owner and manager of a farm store in Seminary.
I've been running the store out there for probably 10 or 12 years now, off and on. I took it on full time back when I took on farming after I got out of college. And I just loved every minute of it.
Trying to manage a general store on top of row crop farming makes Brett a very busy young man.
It makes it for a hard living. I mean, you stay out there and bust it, and we come out here and bust it. There's a lot of time we don't ever get in until 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. I mean, it's a hard life, but it's what I love to do.
Even though he's very busy now, Brett says he has expansion plans.
Maybe pick up a few more bean acres, do a little bit more corn, a little more wheat, but land situation just done got so tight it's hard to find any to lease. A lot of people planting in pine trees, or a lot of these, with the cow prices up, a lot of people buying cows, getting in the cow business right now, and taking away from the row crop.
And if that wasn't enough already, Brett got married 3 months ago. His wife, Memory, is a school teacher at Oak Grove. Our final nominees this year are Adam and Laurie Steele from Magnolia. Laurie is a lab tech at a local clinic. The Steeles have 2 boys, Slade, who just turned 6, and Sawyer, who is 4. The Steeles run a poultry operation in Pike County.
I have 4 chicken houses. We purchased them in 2010. We had to do some upgrading, and in February of 2011, we received birds. We have 21,000 in each house. We keep them a total of 63 days, and our target weight is 9 pounds.
The life of a chicken farmer is all about being at the chicken houses when needed.
When we get here in the mornings, I have to check the computers. It gradually changes the set temp every day, so you have to check and make sure your backups are set right and get them adjusted. We go in and make sure the water pressure is correct. All the feed lines have feed in them, check the water pressure, and then we have to walk the house, look for leaks, water leaks, feed leaks, and pick up all the dead.
Keeping chickens protected in houses helps with their health. They have plenty of food and clean water available at all times.
We regulate how big they get by the amount of lights we give them a day, because if you turn the lights off, it's total darkness. You can make it dark during the middle of the day or light at night. And when they get older, they only get 4 hours of dark time. And that they eat and drink 20 hours a day, and that's why they get so big so quick.
Adam says he has 90 acres of pine trees that vary in age from 6 months to 8 years old. But he also said he's planning to expand the poultry side of his farm by purchasing his father-in-law's farm when he retires.
He has 6 houses, and they're around 20 years old, which these here are like 16 years old. He's done a lot of upgrading of those, and he's getting on around close to 60 years old and getting ready to retire, and it's on family land, so they're looking, at me to purchase the farm.
And those are the nominees for the 2014 Young Farmers and Ranchers Achievement Award. We'll be right back with the announcements of the winners right after this timeout. Stay with us. We have visited all the finalists for the 2014 Mississippi Young Farmers and Ranchers Awards. But before we see who won these awards, let's take a look at the prize packages that the winners receive. The winner of the Excellence in Ag Award takes home this zero-turn lawnmower provided by Southern Ag Credit and an all-expense-paid trip to the American Farm Bureau Federation Convention representing Mississippi in the National Young Farmers and Ranchers Excellence in Ag Award competition. The winner of the Achievement Award receives a full-size pickup courtesy of Southern Farm Bureau Casualty Insurance Company, $500 cash courtesy of Ford, 100 hours use of a John Deere tractor, 250 hours use of a Kubota tractor, $1,800 towards the purchase of technology from Mississippi Farm Bureau, and an all-expense-paid trip to the American Farm Bureau Federation Convention representing Mississippi in the National Young Farmers and Ranchers competition. So let's find out who the winners are of the 2014 Mississippi YF&R Awards.
Your 2014 Mississippi Farm Bureau Young Farmer and Rancher Excellence in Agriculture winner is Marie Rogers.
I'm so thankful and humbled. Thank you, Mississippi Farm Bureau, for all that you've done for my family over the past several years. I'm just thankful to be able to represent Mississippi at the Nationals. Yay!
And this is the moment everybody's been waiting for.
Your 2014 Mississippi Farm Bureau Young Farmers and Ranchers Achievement Award winner is
Beth and Jeremy Graham.
Thank y'all for recognizing our hard work. It wasn't simply done by me. The good Lord blessed me with with a wonderful family, with mother and father. The other workers are at home right now doing the work while we up here. But just thank y'all very much.
And congratulations to Marie Rogers and also to Beth and Jeremy Graham. That's all the time we have for this edition of Voices of Agriculture. We hope you've enjoyed the show and will be with us again next time. For all of us here at the Mississippi Farm Bureau, thanks for watching.